Hello everyone and welcome to the NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar room. My name is Juanita Archuleta and I work for NinjaTrader in our Denver office. We have a very special event for you today with Rob Mitchell of IndicatorSmart. I would like to mention it is important to understand that there are substantial risks in trading commodity futures and futures contracts and Forex. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you and will depend on your specific circumstance and financial resources. It is possible to lose all funds deposited with your broker and could even incur losses beyond these amounts. Please inquire at the following link for a full copy of the CFTC risk disclosure or for any additional questions you may have. Also, please remember that these training webinars are not a solicitation nor a recommendation, but simply educational in nature. This presentation is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Any brokerage-related questions should be sent to the NinjaTrader brokerage using the following email address or phone number. With new tools added nearly every day, NinjaTrader ecosystem is home to hundreds of apps and services. You can quickly and easily find these tools or services you are looking for with a simple keyword search. You'll also find information about upcoming webinars and an on-demand archive of previous events recorded. Also, if you are active on social media, we do ask that you follow us on both Twitter and Facebook to get live updates on all things NinjaTrader ecosystem. NinjaTrader is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. We're very excited for this unique event in which Rob will reveal how when the price action, order flow, and momentum are in alignment, price tends to move in the same direction. Thank you again to everyone for your attendance, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar room, Rob. Go ahead and take it away, Rob.
Hey guys, thanks for coming in today. Thanks for joining us going into this holiday weekend. Thanks, Juanita, for that introduction. And today, I would like to cover with you trading high theoretical win percentages, trading away from value with order flow and momentum using smart patterns techniques. And we're going to get into that. First off, Juanita already covered this in some measure, but please be aware, I see this all the time. I've trained over 1,000 traders, and I see it. Don't use the grocery money to trade. Yeah, you want to use risk capital. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. There's a risk of loss trading futures. Yeah. With that being said, let's take a look at an overview of what we're going to cover today. We're going to learn an indicator designed to keep you on the right side. We're going to learn order flow pattern that can squeeze traders in your direction, other traders, which is what you want, because the market's fundamentally trappy. Yeah. It works to get you on the wrong side, and I call it the trapping cycle. And you want to get on the right side of the trapping cycle. And so I'm going to show you some ways in this, and I'm going to tell you why and give you the fundamental reasons why such a thing should work. I'm going to show you how it works, and then we're going to show you some historical results using a program that we have called Trade Markers that enables us to look at the trades and get the data on the way it all works and comes together. Yeah. Learn a momentum pattern that can predict cycle and range expansion. I have been using this pattern for over 20 years in my trading, and it's what's made it possible for me to live a life as a trader. Really pretty much number one thing there. So we're going to cover that. And then I'm going to show you the smart line and the smart breakpoints, the trapped trader oscillator that can help you to get on the right side, the smart momentum that shows you when the cycle's expanding or contracting in your direction, and we're going to use the smart Renko price bars to do that. I could mention for a moment, what is a price bar? Well, it's a type of a filter, right? And what it does is it organizes the market into a way that you can see patterns within the data that the way we do it has certain specific probabilities associated with it. And I'm going to show you some of those things as we go. And then I'm going to show you how to put it all together for alignment, this concept of alignment. And then also probability stacking using Bayes' theorem that was developed by a Methodist minister trying to solve some problems in statistics that is a very simple way of figuring out if things are lining up in your favor. Yeah, it's very powerful stuff. And then I'm going to show you how to get even more resources. Yeah. So let's take a look, just cover some fundamentals before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. Markets are fundamentally driven by supply and demand factors. One group of traders fades the market against the trends, and then the other stronger group exploits the price discount that's created by that group that's fading and to push trend back in the original direction, typically speaking. Another way of saying this is the trend is your friend, but it really comes down to order flow, supply, and demand factors. Yeah. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. There are many ways to understand order flow, many of which can be overwhelming. You can have like a ladder on your chart with 4,000 numbers on it, and it can just be more than your brain can handle. So as I got older, I couldn't handle that kind of stuff. And so I sought to develop a way to put it all together in one simple graphical representation so that I could see what that order flow was doing, and I'm going to show you that. Yeah. And I'm going to show you the trap trader oscillator, which is essentially that looks at that order flow over the last 3 bars or more, and some different patterns that you can use to see where the trapping cycle is for that smaller group. Yeah. So some other rules of thumb as we're going to take a look at some charts. Number 1, markets trend on low volume. A lot of people don't know that, but when a market starts trending, the volume on the bars drops. This is a form of order flow because the minority that wins ultimately controls the trend by trading against a larger group that's wrong. Yeah. And so when the market's trending, it trends on low volume. When it's consolidating, it trades on high volume. So when the group that's wrong discovers they're wrong, they're forced out of the market by stopping out or ultimately trading the other way. At these points, markets make stronger, more abrupt moves, and typically in favor of the controlling group, right? The trend is your friend. Following this, the market repeats the cycle by trapping the larger group to be on the wrong side. And like I said, I call that the trapping cycle. And if you understand the notion of trapping cycle, it can really help you in your trading. Yeah. Every trader with any amount of experience understands the trapping cycle because we've all been caught in it. Yeah. We've all been caught in that. And so it's a profound experience. Yeah. So this chart that we see here is the basic setup, just real simple and real clean. And what I have here is the smart line. This is a kind of a point of control. It tells you where the market is above or below. If it's above, the market tends to be trending up. If it's below, the market tends to be trending down. Yeah. And the market tends to go with that point of control. What is point of control? One measure of it is time at price. Another is where the market is the thickest over a given interval. If you look, you'll see a lot of bars. So where you see like a lot of bars clustering in here, it'll come up right into the middle of that. Yeah. And then as it goes higher, it'll pull it higher. And when it starts clustering again, it'll find that point where the market, we call this a boxing structure, where the market boxes out a little bit. And it's telling you where that point is. Yeah. Now in the second panel here, we have what's called the trapped trader oscillator. And the trapped trader oscillator can help you to identify where groups are on the wrong side, and specifically so where it's breaking one of these lines to the downside. This suggests it's going up. You're above the smart line. Yeah. And then the smart momentum, what it will do is it will go down against that trend. As it's going down against that trend, it tells you it's going up. As it goes down against the trend, it tells you it's going up. This is telling you that the cycle is expanding. And when the cycle starts to expand, you tend to get range expansion. Fundamental concept that, as I said, has made it possible for me to live a life as a trader. Just this simple concept alone, combined with some other things, yeah. Another fundamental concept of trading is, so we have this, the cycle expansion tends to lead range expansion. And like I said, that's no small point, right? So that's why I put it again here. Cycle expansion tends to lead range expansion. So this makes good intuitive sense. So to understand that, imagine, if you will, if the market is choppy, it's making a lot of small little cycles, right? And so the cycle's small. If the cycle begins to expand, it can often do so just before the range expansion begins. Cycle expansion can be complicated and counterintuitive because you can't see that just by looking at a chart most of the time. So we use a special tool for that, and that tool is the smart momentum. The smart momentum analyzes the cycle length that's happening, and if it is expanding, it makes that special pattern of opposing the main price direction. So I'm going to show you a pattern where the smart trap trader oscillator and the smart momentum go out of bounds, And I sometimes call that the stretched pattern, or I'll call it out of bounds. Yeah, we're going to cover that in a minute. I'll cover that in just a minute. Let me see. Yeah, so here's that same chart again we just looked at. So when the trap trader oscillator goes out of bounds, the market will tend to go up, particularly so if the smart momentum went out of bounds too. So when you get a red dot right there and you get a lower red dot, tells you the market's going up. You actually know it before the dot happens, when it breaks the prior line, because with every dot there's a line. So as soon as that goes through right there to the downside, you know that the market's expanding to the upside. Yeah. So the smart line, how to find the short-term trend. The smart line takes a measure of how the market is biased, similar to the way a market profile point of control works. But we want to trade away from this bias. So if we're above it, we're looking for long, and if we're below it, we're looking for a short. So we have that chart with the smart line on it. And then I'm going to show you how to put it together with all these three things with a trading system that works in various time frames and on various markets. The more volatile the market, the better. And today I'm going to show you a scalping system just to keep it simple. And so we're going to see a lot of examples here in a few minutes. And like I said, we're going to use trade markers from IndicatorSmart to get the system performance. So as we put it all together here, and I cover some trades, what's the theory behind a system like this? Well, first it looks at the point of control and seeks only to trade away from that, on the theory that the more you move away from value, the more participants you will attract to that side over the other while coming out of that value area. Yeah. Next, it seeks to find where traders are on the wrong side on the trap trader oscillator using advanced order flow metrics. So the market's above value, for example, and the trap trader oscillator breaks a line below. It tells me I got some traders trapped there. And then finally, we're going to look at where the cycle is likely expanding. Now, what are we doing here? We've got three things. We've got value. Yeah. we've got order flow, and we've got momentum, or range expansion through the momentum. Each of these things stands on its own. They're entirely independent metrics. Entirely independent metrics. If you take three things and you put them together, and each one has a 75% probability, for example, you get what's called probability stacking. But it's important that those metrics each stand on their own, that they each stand on their own. When you do that, you build what I call a super system. So this is a triple whammy that theoretically adds up to a trading edge, as we'll see in a moment using trade markers. These kinds of concepts are fundamental to building a trading system and trading system development concepts that also have known independent statistical metrics. That's very important. Known independent statistical metrics associated with them that theoretically puts the edge in your favor into getting into what I call a manageable trade situation or a scalping situation. You know that the market's likely to move away from your entry such that your risk is manageable. You can get it into a runaway trade situation, or you can just scalp out of it. Today we're going to focus on scalping. These methods are used in our trading room daily and have established consistency with the Smart Patterns trading system. That system has tens of thousands of hours of member use and feedback and input. And we've just really refined it. We've just really refined it. So let's take a look at some trades. Yeah. So you're above the smart line, yeah, point of control, and you broke to the downside here, or you just a little bit below it, yeah, and the smart momentum's going down, and you can buy right here, yeah, buy right here. That goes 15 ticks in your favor. This day that I selected would just happen to be the day that I was setting up to do this webinar. You got the same thing here. You're out of bounds down in here, and you go out of bounds on the trap trader oscillator. You actually went out of bounds right there, and the market goes higher. You come over here, and now this actually kind of went out of bounds. We call this a slider, and I'll mark that because the trap trader oscillator didn't go out of bounds. Real simple system. Yeah. Real simple system. Now, market went below the smart line here, but did any of these go out of bounds? Well, they did actually, and you got one trade to the short side right here, just scalping out right there. Yeah. And the market came back up above the smart line again, came down and touched it, went out of bounds, went out of bounds. There's another trade right there. Yeah. They're above the smart line right here, and this came lower on the smart momentum, and you went out of bounds here, and up it went right here. Yeah. Again, we did the same thing again. You went out of bounds here. You went out of bounds by 3 lines on this guy. 3 lines on this guy. Trap trader oscillator went out of bounds, and the market came higher. If you hadn't gone in there, there were some other places, possibly over in here, that you could have gotten in. And this shows the length of time that you were in the trade. Yeah. I got another one here. You're below, and the trap trader oscillator was out of bounds. We call this a sliding structure when you do this. And so you go to the downside right here. Yeah. And proceeding through the same day, down below the smart line, you go out of bounds over here, and the momentum is higher, and you get a sell. You come down here, you close through the smart line, you're way out of bounds on these guys, and the market comes down again. You got this one right here. Did the trap trader oscillator go out of bounds? Nope, didn't do it there. Didn't do it there. That came up over here and went out of bounds, and the smart momentum went higher, telling us the range is continuing to expand likely. And again, another one right here, out of bounds, and down it goes. Above the smart line, and going lower here. Well, this is a double bottom. And actually, this particular one, you were out of bounds over here. But this didn't happen until over here. And then you got this structure, we call this a lead out, where it breaks a line going higher in the direction of the intended trade. This goes out of bounds here, this is out of bounds over here, and another trade here. Could have entered that here, actually. That's down below the smart line, goes out of bounds, this is out of bounds, and down. This is above the line right there, the prior green dot. This is out of bounds here, and below the smart line, down it goes. It's out of bounds here, and this goes out of bounds right there, and again. This one I think was a carryover from the other. You're out of bounds here, you're out of bounds here, and lower. Market comes down a bit again. You go out of bounds over here. This is out of bounds on the smart momentum, and the market goes lower. Yet, actually, you had one here. Looks like well, that was above a little bit. Is I think why I didn't select it for you. Out of bounds here, lower. Out of bounds here, out of bounds here. It was above the smart line. So we didn't look at that one. Yeah. And then on this next chart, I think this takes us into the end of the day. Out of bounds here, this is out of bounds here, and you got trapped on this one. This out of bounds here, going higher. And out of bounds over here, higher, out of bounds. I usually don't trade in these after market hours, but I just marked them there for you because I had them. Yeah. So all those arrows that you saw in there were done by trade markers. It's a program that we use to compile statistics for this kind of trading. Yeah. And you can see in here just for the day, 57 wins at the targets of 5, 8, and 12 ticks. 5, 8, and 12 ticks. And it shows at the 5-tick profit target a 92% win rate. At the 8-tick target, it shows an 89 or a 79% win rate. And then at the 12-tick target, it shows a 67% win rate. 860, 920, 960. These numbers are increasing, showing that all those are viable strategies for this. 12-tick stop. Yeah. Trade Markers has all other kinds of cool features in it, and we're in soft release for that only for trading room members. But it can show you the time and trade. You can root out specific examples in it of where the thing worked really well or didn't, and this kind of thing. Yeah. So what is the Smart Patterns trading system that we've been looking at? It's a flexible intraday trading system that catches moves in both directions, up, down, trend, and counter trend, and scalping. Today I've chosen to show you some trend trades, yeah, and scalping trend trades. So what does it use? It uses price action. In this particular case, the price action we were using was the smart line. And then just to keep it simple, yeah, we can get down into price action patterns that we have statistics for that are very cool and for high win percentages. But we're just keeping it simple for the webinar today. The momentum, which helps you to predict range expansion as the cycle is expanding. Yeah. and then the order flow to find low-risk entries with high theoretical, historical probability for follow-through. It's a very flexible system. You can do it to fit your own trading style. You want to trade a little bigger, you want to trade a little smaller, you want to scalp, you want to trade with the trend, and it works reasonably well in any volatile market. Yeah, any volatile market. Tens of thousands of hours of member use and refinement that has enabled this system to just get better and better and better over the 4.5 years we've been doing this in the trading room. It's just remarkable. Actually, the system's been around a lot longer than that. But as we had the trading room, we really got structured about getting down to the way these things work. Yeah. So what is the oil trading room? The oil trading room is a trader training ground for learning advanced trading techniques such as the stretch system that we just covered here, yeah? Using smart patterns trading system tools. Tens of thousands of hours of member contribution leading to refinement and advancement of the system. If you want to learn and benefit from the smart momentum and the trap trader oscillator and price action patterns, etc., then the oil trading room is for you. But the benefits are way too numerous to mention here. So many of the trading patterns we teach have similar statistics to what you've seen here today, and similar win rates to what you've seen here today on this system. Yeah. Let's see, what else do we have here for you? Yeah, so you can get all the resources for this webinar at IndicatorSmart.com/special. Now, I forgot to post the special offer, so I'll have a link there for you in a little while. There's a special offer on that page if you go to IndicatorSmart.com/special, and I'll put a link in there for you in a little bit. Now, there's another thing that I'm extending for you today, and that is a special offer for the webinar, is to see today's room action. Yeah, and we cover a bunch of different things with that, and so you can get that on this page also. Other resources for you. You can join us on the website. Oil Trading Room. You can join our list there. Make sure you do that. Oh, for some reason it piled all that stuff together. So you can join our mailing list, which I recommend. And you can join our YouTube channel here. You get weekly updates. And then the link, Juanita already put in the link there for you. I'll put it in again. And I'd like to thank you for joining me today for this quick and brief webinar. I want to wish you a super, super holiday, and thanks for taking your time to come in and spend your afternoon with us for this webinar. Like I said, the links will be posted in a little while on that page, IndicatorSmart.com/special. Juanita, I'll hand it back over to you, and I'd like to thank NinjaTrader and Juanita for having me in today, and also, again, you for coming in and taking the time to learn a little bit about what we do. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
We do want to thank everybody for your time today and joining us. This presentation was presented by IndicatorSmart. Great presentation, Rob. Thank you so much for joining us. NinjaTrader Ecosystem is pleased to sponsor these weekly vendor events as a value-added service for our clients. If you do find value in them, we do hope that you'll attend them on a regular basis. We would like to remind you that the information provided in this was that of IndicatorSmarts and not of NinjaTraders. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Again, we do appreciate the time that you spend with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars.